Alright everyone, welcome to another video in our MS Guys series on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite suits, is the Gem Striker Kai. Now I've always loved the Gem Striker. Back when this game came out, the Gem Striker, when I was just a little newbie, kicked my ass. I didn't know how to really deal with raids, especially playing, in 300 costumes with a 250 suit. The Gem Striker looked very good to me. Power creep has destroyed the suit, especially on the ground. But they came out with the Gem Striker Kai, and I was really excited because it goes in space and only in space, and it's got a cool weapon. So, you know, I take what I get, I guess. So, today's video is about the Gem Striker Kai. There's a couple drawbacks to this suit. The fact it's still got an issue against competing against other raids. It's just no reliable stun. And that's really just a big issue. It's got the same kind of like effects as the normal Gem Striker, but it's got more melee defense, a little bit less of a melee modifier. Other than that, the suit's pretty much the same, just one's on ground, one's in space. So there is a key difference. This suit has a melee weapon that does way more damage than the other two weapons that the Gem Striker could equip, and it shares the animations of my favorite suits, just, mirrored in the opposite direction, the Gale Gooks. Going to the build, this suit has three, yes, count them, three different primary weapon options. That would be the 100mm machine gun, which staggers the best. The bullpup machine gun, which has a fast fire rate. Does not stagger as easily, but it puts out more bullets. And the beam gun. Don't use the beam gun. It's a trap. Don't do it. Use the 100mm machine gun or the bullpup machine gun if you're going to use a primary weapon. I recommend the 100mm just because the stagger buildup is better. But I actually like the bullpup a little bit more. I like the faster fire rate. It's got less ammo. But the weapon, the melee weapon choices, same with the normal Gem Striker, is the twin beam scythe and the twin beam spear. But the weapon unique to the Striker Kai is the twin beam saber linked. So the twin beam saber linked does a lot more base damage than the other two melee weapons. It's got a better animation. It's not slow, and it's not easy to counter. Well, it's not hard. Let me correct myself. You have the same counter windows as the Gilgoog. You don't have the long reach of the pole arms, the freaking twin beam spear. You don't have the heavy stagger guarantee one swing of the scythe. But you do have constant damage, good damage with the twin beam saber linked, which is basically the beam naginata. Your sub weapons include headmail and Vulcans. They don't stun. Don't rely on them for stun. You can use them in conjunction with your machine gun to stun, but they won't stun on their own. Your twin beam sabers will split into another sub weapon. Just like if you're using the other ones, you get the sub beam saber. But these are just cooler. It shares animations with the well, what suit is it? It kind of shares the Ackmander's animations for its downswing. And then it's got the Striker shield. 4,000 health, approximately medium-sized shield. For this suit, the build that I highly recommend is just mostly because, the suit's very one-dimensional. Max the melee damage, levels 1 through 4 of enhanced melee program parts. Strength and frame level 5. Anti-melee armor level 1. And thruster control systems level 3. Thruster control systems, the suit has space topography. It allows you to move longer because you have 70 thruster instead of 60, which means you can catch supports and outrun generals because you have maneuver armor. Looking at your skills, high spec and back. It's typical for spacesuits. Melee combat control level 1, so you only have 2 swings instead of 3. Maneuver armor level 1. As we were talking about the maneuver armor before, this means your resistance to stuns while boosting is increased. You're immune to instant shot sounds like beam rifles and bazookas, but machine guns can build up stagger over you on you still and stun you out of boost. Force eject to level 1. This is also a reason they put increased thrusters. Basically allows you to cancel one evasive maneuver with another evasive maneuver without stopping. Anti-blast stabilizer level 1. This is good, especially in space, because, you know, you might not see a suit blowing up above you or below you, which would normally heavy stagger you, so you just keep on flying. Explosive reactive armor level 1. Kind of useless in space, unless you're like hugging a wall and somebody misses a rocket and it hits behind you, it won't stagger you, but really, you're open space. This skill really doesn't get much use, so it's really a negatable skill. Shield tackle level 1. Increases damage dealt by tackling, you loses its effect until if the unit shield is destroyed. So if your shield is alive, you have better tackles, but if your shield is destroyed, you have just a basic ass tackle. My one wish for this suit is if they can just it wouldn't make sense, right? Because the armor on this suit canonically is explosive reactive armor. But gameplay wise, if they just removed the explosive reactive armor and say gave it like, I don't know, like, especially the suit goes to 350 cost, so dodge roll would be too much for a raid, because raids are it's an either or with raids at 350 cost, maneuver armor or dodge roll. So I wouldn't say give it dodge roll. I'd say more along the lines of give it like anti-stealth or freaking oh, I'm blanking out. Give it extended reach on its radar, so it can see suits a lot easier, especially in space. But yeah, that's this Gem Striker Kai. It's a very one-dimensional suit, so our practice range portion is going to be very short. But this is kind of how I build it. I get success, I get good damage. I'm not falling behind to where I'm like doing negligible damage at all. I'm keeping up with the rest of the pack. You know, sometimes I do outstanding, get first or in the top 3. Other times I'm sitting in the middle. Very, very rarely am I ever at the bottom or close to the bottom in this suit. As long as you know that, you know, you're not going in there trying to stun on your own, and especially in space, melee combat's very tricky already. So melee itself is a lot more forgiving. Tackles aren't as easy to land. Melee people don't really pay attention to above or below them because it's kind of hard to. And thing is, you can get below somebody and hit their feet and it'll count, which is what this melee weapon we have chosen is really good for. So with that in mind, let's head over to the practice range and get this suit tested out. Alright everyone, welcome to the practice range of our Gem Striker Kai video. So, yeah, as you can see, our range it's okay against the ports, you know. About a little bit over half of a magazine to stagger something, as long as every bullet hits. As you saw before, we put like 11 bullets in, so you know, 19 from our Vulcans as a stagger. But what I was talking about earlier about the animations, it's very, very similar to the Gelgoog, right? Now the thing is, with the Gelgoog's upswing, downswing, or neutral downswing. So downswing for the Gelgoog's top left to bottom right. This one is top right to bottom left. The exact same animation though. The recovery time for the melee weapon though is still pretty long, so be careful of that. The neutral swing is the exact same. So if you're very familiar with Gelgoogs, this suit should be, especially the melee, how the melee playstyle of this weapon specifically works, is very, very familiar. It does more base damage. The suit has a higher melee modifier than most Gelgoogs, especially at 400 cost. This suit is going to excel at actually hitting its opponents in melee. As you can see, this support we left at about half HP, so it's gonna die. So if you do have to watch out for is other raids. You won't do as much damage, but you still do a ton. Thing is, an enemy that you knock back with your main melee weapon won't be able to be hit with the same melee weapon. You have to switch to your sub melee weapon, your twin beam spears. Now here's the thing with the twin beam spears. They do moderate damage as well. Switching back to your primary melee weapon for a downswing. See, with this suit, the melee combo is different than the normal Gem Striker Kai that's on the ground. Yes, your melee is still subpar, but the thing is, your melee in space is unchallenged very, very easily. And you have a better sub-weapon than the Gem Striker on the ground. So the thing is, this is how I would lead with this suit. I would try and look for the flank and or teammate building up stun on somebody. I wouldn't try and fight somebody one-on-one unless they weren't paying attention to me and they're trying to shoot at somebody else. I'd lead with the sub-weapon. The sub-weapon does good damage. It also combos. But I'd finish by switching to my main beam spear or weapon and hitting him with the downswing, because that's going to do a lot of damage. So, what I would do is combo him out with the sub-weapon, fly up, hit him with the downswing from your linked beam saber, because it's going to do the most damage, and return back to your sub-weapon and or machine guns. Because, you know, support's going to be low health after that point. One thing you can really do to really mess with your opponents is, since you do slide around space, and that your sub-weapon's downswing is a lunge, you know, use that around corners. What you could do is you could stop your inertia from your boost by canceling it early, sliding forward a little bit, hitting your downswing, and you basically get the same effect as you're actually doing the commander's downswing, by the sense of you're doing basically a two-step melee with a 100% modifier on the actual hit instead of, you know, breaking it up. Same thing with the commander, it only has one modifier on it. The suit's downswing can hit multiple enemies as long as they're vertical from each other. So, you know, keep that in mind. But remember, as long as you're fast enough, switch from twin beam spear after boost cancel into your linked beam saber for the massive damage on your downswing, especially the supports. Then you can switch back to your twin beam spear, well, your unlinked, do more damage. Something for against generals, say if this dude wasn't paying attention, right? Hit him with the melee combo, switch to my beams, my linked, go back, my normal beam sabers are ready to go. Thing is, in space, you know, I could sit below them, they're gonna have a harder time, and I could just fly up. Thing is, they'd have to be looking directly at me to tackle me, and that's not a very easy thing to do, especially in space, because the tackle won't go directly down at me, it'll go at a slightly higher angle, which means they have the possibility of just bumping off me. Yeah, they get iframes, but thing is, they now have no boost, which means melee is gonna be even easier to land on them. So the Gem Striker, except for on ground, because really it has no suitable engage, and melee is just risky when you don't have a reliable stun. But in space, you can throw the conventional rules of ground combat out the window. Reliable stun is nice, yes, but thing is, in a space where it's a 360-degree combat field around your suit, that you cannot realistically protect every single inch at the same time like you can on the ground. You're going to basically either sacrifice your boost bar constantly, or you're going to take the hit, because you can't stop somebody attacking below you as easily as you can stop somebody attacking you face to face or from the side. So that's kind of where this suit shines, is the fact that in this environment it doesn't need a reliable stun. It actually performs very well. As long as you can master the skill for this suit, which is not really relying on a stun and getting off the mentality that I need to shoot gun to be good, you could do really well. In all honesty, I fear people more who have confidence in their suit, especially suits like this, that are taking them out into battle, and they're doing well. If I'm getting like 1v1 by a Gem Striker Kai, like, that's kind of just like, holy cow, this dude knows what he's doing. And you can still fear. And fear allows, you know, mistakes essentially to be made in you. If you're afraid of somebody and you're like worrying about their skill level, you're gonna start making mistakes unless you yourself meet them with equal skill and don't let it get to you. But also imagine now if you're the person showing that you know how to use your suit and you're very skilled in it, the enemy's going to be panicking. You know, they'll be gunning for you. And here's the thing, your suit, as much as it pains me to say about the suit, as much as I love it, if they're targeting the Gem Striker Kai, there's much bigger threats at 350 and 400 costs in your suit. At 400 costs, you have the Rickon GH. You have the Pale Rider Space Type and the Cavalry at 400, and the Cavalry sits at 350 as well. You have the Saikamu Zaku at 400 and 450. You know, there's so many bigger threats in this suit, but thing is, if you're good enough with the suit, you can generate enough threat to where enemies have to focus you because you're going to be outputting so much damage and moving around so quickly that they have to respond to you. If they don't, they're going to watch their teammates start dying and getting picked off really quickly. You know? So that's the thing about the suit. High skill floor, really high skill ceiling, in my opinion. And to really, map awareness and getting good and faster at the suit just makes you even better. Makes the suit 80 million times better than the striker on the ground. Cause space, let's be real here. It takes a lot of the gimmicks of ground and the crutches and throws them out the window. Yeah, some still exist. I'm not gonna deny that. But at the same time, a lot more stuff is even in fair play in the ground, in space. So, with that in mind, let's go to your biggest threats and your counters. So, your suit here, level 1's 350 cost, level 2, which is what we're using right now, is 400 cost. Your biggest threats, Rickon GH at 400. Pale Rider Cavalry, both costs. Pale Rider Space Type. G-Line Standard Armor. Blue Destiny Unit 3. Blue Destiny Unit 2. Saikamu Zaku. It does more than melee damage than you. It doesn't look like it would, but it does. Gym Intercept Custom Fellow Booster. That thing will destroy you. It's faster than you, it hits harder than you, its melee is just better than yours. Don't fight it. Rickon 2 is another big thing. Granted, slower. Pays you at 400 cost. You don't have a lot of beam resistance. It's going to shred you. No support is a threat to you. At all. None of them. Which makes the suit really good. Most raids, they shouldn't give you an issue. Generals, you can steal for them. Because I said before, a lot of generals, well, a lot of gimmicks that you can use on the ground don't really work in space. And generals really rely on gimmicks to really survive and tank and all that stuff. So as long as you can outmaneuver a general, you're basically on top. Because the suit's fast, it's nimble. And as I said before, it shares the Gelgoose animations for its primary melee weapon. So therefore, you know, as long as you're familiar with Gelgoose, there you go. That's the Gem Striker Kai. I like this suit. I don't recommend this suit for beginners. You're just gonna feed your ass off. But if you're an experienced player, especially if you like space, I highly recommend if you roll this suit to give it at least a try and learn it. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I personally recommend this is a good suit to train up with and learn how space works in the sense of trying to improve your space combat in the sense of not relying on stuns as much and outmaneuvering your opponents. But yeah, if there's anything I missed about this suit or any suits you want to see in the future, let me know down in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you get alerts and new videos show up in your subscription box so you're always there when the new videos drop. But yeah, as always, this has been Deranged Pyro, aka Grandy Warrior, signing off.